Now, the answer to the question. In the comments, one guy wrote, "You were all talking about DETB development and now you're talking about mass production." Well, what can you say to that? He heard something but doesn't really know what it's about. This is about the video that was posted on the channel yesterday. Basically, this video shows that our engines, in terms of manufacturing process, technology, and complexity, are on par with engines that use conventional windings. In terms of labor intensity and all the processes involved, they're actually even simpler. And they can be produced using the equipment and technologies that already exist today. This is to clarify things for our opponents. Because everywhere you hear these fairy tales that it's hard to make these windings, that you can't do it on regular equipment, and other such nonsense. So that information was provided specifically for the nonsense generator. Nothing more than that. Secondly, in order for the customer to be fully satisfied, you need to clearly show not only the development itself, but also the technology and the specific process for implementing this development. Point. And for that, there must be the production of pilot batches. We've talked about this as well. These pilot batches are made on equipment, and in this way, it is also demonstrated that the entire technology can be implemented not only on our equipment, but also on equipment that we can purchase from our brothers, the Chinese. So nothing has happened or is happening that goes beyond the previously announced doctrine. And the fact that this is being produced, here are the shots, here is the drawing in process, and here is the winding process. In these videos, I specifically explained in detail that this is standard equipment, which is commonly used throughout the industry. Here too there is a worker, but you didn't pay attention to this shot where the stator is being slotted and the entire machine isn't shown here. This particular machine is made using our technology, and it's 10 to 15 times smaller in volume than a standard Chinese one. And we're not revealing our know-how. Nothing is shown here. What was shown in the shot was the tape of insulation material, carefully made from Isoflex, being slowly fed through. And that's all there was to it. So let's not make things up. Let's pay very close attention to the information we're providing, making sure we are very much focused. If you want to criticize, go ahead. Constructive business criticism is always welcome. Why are we only talking about drones?
Right now, robotics is developing at a tremendous pace. We should have tremendous prospects in this field. Are there any potential customers in this area?
There are three main components in robotics. The first is the motor with its controller. We have a built-in motor available. As for controllers, well, we actually have the same controller model that's used in the angle grinder. It's not hard to adapt it for this purpose, and the software for it is available. Well, as for harmonic drives, we don't have our own, so those are purchased. That's why we have something to offer for robotics, especially now, since in China they've manufactured the tooling for casting the clamps, or rather the traverses, both the front and rear ones, on which the bearing is mounted, as well as the rotor and the encoder on the motor. They're installed this way because at first we tested 2-beam versions, and now we're using 4-beam ones. These will be cast using a high-pressure die casting machine. Accordingly, one set will be produced in up to half a minute, no more. Thank you.
What happens if we do not get the commissioning paperwork this year? For any reason? Will we have to start some process over again in 2026? Or will we have to start the same process from scratch next year?
No, everything will continue. There's no need to start this process from scratch, so all this work will keep going. But step by step, all these great ideas set out in the documents will be implemented, and all claims against us will be withdrawn. And just like with other issues that were dragged out for a long time, no matter how long the rope is, it still has an end.
Is it possible to find out how many pre-orders there are for angle grinder, if that's not a secret?
Well, basically, we've stopped counting the volume because, well, it's pointless. Because among those who ordered earlier, some will drop out, some won't. But there are orders, and most importantly, we've made good progress not only on manufacturing the angle grinder itself, but also on the packaging solution. There's a solution for that now, too. And the work related to, or let's say, the option of implementing it with battery power has also progressed well. In fact, 2 options were considered there: an individual battery or a set of batteries that are used in mass-produced tools placed in a specific case with a charger and a balancer. Everything is included. And if something happens to the battery, you can always buy one at a store and replace a single cell, I think these options are quite reasonable.
Is there a plan to implement a system for monitoring machine load and energy resource usage? It is currently being done right now.
And regarding our energy resources, I have already discussed the program that is currently being utilized. As soon as we complete the installation of all the necessary equipment, and once the electricians are available, we'll begin installing switches, just like the ones you see in hotels. So you insert a card, the lights turn on, you take it out, and then you leave. Point. This system is intended to help save energy and improve efficiency, so that people don't leave the lights on in rooms that aren't used constantly. In frequently visited areas, such as locker rooms, restrooms, and sanitary rooms, lighting will be controlled by motion sensors. In addition to this, the necessary work will be performed according to the established plan. Regarding the replacement on the most heavily used equipment, specifically those equipped with asynchronous motors, we are replacing the windings in these motors from standard to combined ones. By the way, the first motor is already in operation. Due to unavoidable circumstances, however, we decided not to replace it. The equipment arrived, but the motor was faulty, so we modified it so we wouldn't have to buy a new motor. The shaft there is modified, non-standard. That's why the decision was made. We removed the winding, and now combined windings are being installed there. As a result, the equipment will operate with a motor that features combined windings, specifically with the Slavyanka technology. Thank you for your attention.